Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman. We're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Lance Sexton is in the house. Joseph Coleman's in the house. We got a lot of stuff today. Delaney Sexton, no relation to the Colemans, is hovering on her mic in case we may call her in for some stats. So we'll see what's going on. Hey, you know about questions. Thank you all for joining us. We respect your time. Let's get to it. Poll question number one. What is the number one error lenders make in closing SBA loans? We're not verifying equity ejection. All of these are correct. But there's one that's number one. Completing the 1050 incorrectly, a failure to obtaining life insurance per the SOP. And number four, not matching the credit memo with the loan authorization.
These all could be these all are excellent answers.
They're all correct. Yeah.
If you don't get the correct or the biggest one, you still picked a good.
Yeah, this is sort of no wrong answers. Lance, it's the 9% category, completing the 1050.
Yeah, the new 1050 word from SBA to me and others is people are not completing the 1050 correctly. It's an important document to properly fill out. The other thing is, Bob, if you have multiple disbursement loans, it's important to attach those to the completed 1050.
Actually, the number one error is, well, it is the 1050, but one of the things SBA wants to see is they want to see that credit memo matching use of proceeds with the loan authorization, matching use of proceeds with the 1050. That's probably
correct.
More accurate answer, but again, the credit memo is a credit memo, so that's what it is, and then we're supposed to translate that to the loan authorization. Now, what the issue is, and we all understand that something comes in, there's changes, there's overruns, there's moving around in buckets. Lance, well, first of all, Lance, the lender has what percentage can they unilaterally increase the loan without SBA breathing down their neck?
Well, any increase on a GP loan is going to have to go to the processing center for approval. Any change in the use of proceeds is going to have to go, if it's GP. If you're doing it delegated authority, you can increase the loan amount. I don't know the SOP still has a percentage, Bob, but
used to have 10%. Yeah, I don't know what that.
You can generally increase it 10 to 20% unilaterally without. Well, in the case of a delegated loan, you can safely increase.
Joseph, make a note. I want to follow up. I want to see how many people are what percentage of loans are being processed GP. I'd like to know what the processing time is. Do you have any sense of that, Lance, today?
I do not, Bob. The GP center was pretty swamped, so it's the 504 processing center, and it was taking a little longer to get approvals, but I'm not sure what the time is.
Okay, we'll focus on GP tomorrow. We obviously don't have our answers. But I know at one time there was a way to do that, and I'd be curious of GP. And then Lance, you can go into why we want to use, we do want to use GP for a couple of very good reasons we'll talk about tomorrow. Number two, how much has been dispersed from the Shuttered Venue Operators Grant Program? 1, 2, 3, 4.
And just to give a quick reminder, there's $16 billion total for the budget in grants.
That doesn't help the people who already voted, Joseph.
I know.
Joseph, what's the answer?
They got it correct. The answer is $2 billion. This has been dispersed. So awarded has been $3.2 billion, and I think Delaney said that we have 74% have been decided. So just to give a little context.
Decided, we don't know if that's decided pro, decided con, but they've been acted upon. Is that?
The decisions are either yes or no, and then the $3.2 billion awarded and only 2 have been dispersed. So average loan size is significantly higher than the restaurant at $750,000, and 3,000 plus total applications are being reviewed. So
it appears we don't have the problems we have in restaurant revitalization with this program. Is that a fair statement?
I think it is.
Yeah, I think
are we going to Go ahead.
I think it's a lot more successful. It came out after the restaurant, I believe, so maybe they fixed a couple glitches. So, but yeah, that's where we are right now for those numbers.
That average grant size is also pretty large. That's the average size, Lance. I mean, that's the average.
Yeah, that's pretty significant. This program's been run a little more efficiently and not had the legal hiccups that the restaurant revitalization program had.
Yeah. So, anyway, so I think that's good news. Any chance of this program running out of money, Joseph?
I believe, I mean, if it's been open for over a month and 74% of it decided, I don't think we're going to see that issue, just not as much as restaurants. So restaurant was significantly higher. The applications and the demand was a lot higher. So I think they might have hit it right on the head with this allocation, and
well, this
and
is
we'll
a
see
good,
how it works out.
Craig, I appreciate this because this is a nice segue. Craig asked the question, any truth to the rumor of a round 3 PPP and more CARES Act 1122 payments? And so we have a number of issues. Do we fund restaurant revitalization more? Do we fund PPP? My attitude is I don't think there's an appetite on the Hill. We can ask John Riosny on that tomorrow, but from I know there are rumblings in Congress and bills have been introduced, Craig. That's probably why you're getting that. It's not a rumor. It's been introduced. I just don't know what the appetite of Congress is to pump more money in there. They've moved on to infrastructure. Lance, do you have an opinion?
Well, I really don't think we're going to see a round 3 of PPP. I know most lending institutions have experienced fatigue. I know the SBA has experienced fatigue, and I think Congress has experienced fatigue, and I'm really not sure that it's necessary. Anybody who wanted a PPP loan should have been able to get one at this point.
That's a fair statement. I mean, I'm sure things fell through the cracks, and we read the odd article that they thought they were being forgiven and they're not, and now they have a loan payment, or something happened, they didn't get paid, or they didn't get the loan. But that's pretty rare. I would go with your assessment, Craig. I have no inside knowledge. I don't know other than what we pick up in talking to a few people, and as of right now, I don't see an appetite in Congress to do that. But
and the big push on the SBA side, Bob, is to get 2020 forgiveness finished and move on to 2021 forgiveness.
Well, and we haven't even got. Well, we have a slide on this. We're still waiting for 504 debt refinance. So before we start talking about new funds, let's get the things done that they wanted to, Congress wanted to see implemented, and that was one of them. Number 3, which of the following is small businesses' number one concern? Supply chain, labor, access to capital, rising material cost. Again,
these are all excellent answers.
I can make a case for all 4.
I'm sorry, Joseph, go ahead.
I can make a case for all 4. We've all read the news on supply chain, and hiring is impossible, and access to capital and rising material costs and inflation. So I think
we're going to give everyone credit on this. All the answers are right. It's definitely all of the above. We put those up there. Is that a year ago, these are things that we would not have been, or 2 years ago, we would not be asking our borrowers, our applicants.
Well, and I think it depends on where the business is at right now. I know, Bob, a lot of existing businesses that, are doing well. The supply chain issue is significant. I know a lot of the businesses.
It really is. Yeah.
I know a lot of the businesses that had to reduce their workforce and are now coming back at 100%. Labor is a huge issue. Of that group, Bob, access to capital, there's been, banks have been lending money. So there's been good access to capital, although some small businesses may perceive
But
there's
Lance,
not.
we had a slide yesterday. You weren't here. We had a slide that's showing defaults are up to 3% total small business lending, and it's starting to creep up, which tells me if there's defaults, there's a problem with getting capital.
Well, I think that we're going to see an increase in defaults because we had a number of government programs that kind of hid those defaults.
They hid them. They put them in the basement and threw away the key. I mean, because they locked them up.
To use a football example, it's like they punted on first down. So.
Or here's a ball. Take it. So this is where we are. Oh, who did that chart, Joseph? It's a nice looking chart. Is that?
They just threw it together real quick. It's very unofficial. But
I was going to say, what is the source? Okay, let's move on. There we go. Lance, we're waiting for all this stuff. Give me a recap. This hasn't changed in a month, Lance. What's going on?
504 refinance, I think we'll see it at some point. It may be after the end of SBA's fiscal year, but this is so you can refinance an existing 504 loan with a new 504 loan. It's been rumored, it's been talked about for months. I think we'll eventually see it, but it may be the fall before we do. Shuttered venue grant program, as we're seeing the money starting to trickle out, and I think SBA will work their way through that. PPP forgiveness, the big push right now is 2020 forgiveness. SBA wants to get that complete. There's going to be some announcements from SBA about 2021 forgiveness and how to get the guarantee paid on PPP loans very soon.
If you get a call from President Biden this afternoon and he says, Lance, you're my czar of PPP, tell me 3 things you would do to fix it.
I still, Bob, and I'm like a broken record. Blanket forgiveness at a certain size point would certainly help. And we have to remember what the program's all about, Bob. It was kind of it was unemployment, more or less. It was an opportunity to keep the unemployment rate manageable. So blanket forgiveness, say for $50,000 and under, I still feel like that would be a huge relief to PPP borrowers as well as financial institutions. And Bob, even the SBA would probably feel great relief if that were the case. Now, I doubt we'll ever see that. The other thing is in the forgiveness on guaranteed purchase, dealing with bankruptcy, PPP fraud, just some clarity on how we deal with that, because the 2021 PPP loans were smaller. There's no Lamborghinis or jet airplanes in it, but there's still some fraud in the PPP program. I want to emphasize it's still a very small percentage of the overall PPP program, but just understanding how to deal with that will be helpful for participant bankers and the SBA. And many of the things that I would hope for, Bob, I believe we will see information from SBA over the next couple of weeks that will help clarify those things. Like that we've heard rumors of, and that's going to happen. I agree. Yeah.
Here's this interesting stat, and the reason why we're harping on this is that you need to use this if you get projections and you base a loan on those projections, because 2020 doesn't cash flow, which we've talked about before. In other words, we need to then, if the 2020 is negative, then we have to rely on loan on projections. Well, you cannot use your 2019 labor costs just and plug it in. You need to have an assumption that says, okay, this is what my labor costs are going to be in 2021, 2022. Lance, what would you like to see as a lender? This doesn't have to be very extensive. You just want to make sure the borrower has addressed it, correct?
I think the borrower in their projections has to acknowledge that labor costs are going to go up. Now, it's a catch-22, Bob. Small businesses, we do a webinar on restaurants, and the difference in being able to make your loan payments and earn a living as a restaurant owner is how well you manage your food and labor costs.
But yeah,
And we know labor cost is going up, food cost is going up. So the restaurant industry, I want a little more detailed description of how they decided what food and labor cost was, including the necessary increases in labor and how you're going to address that, Bob, because, you know, we've done the restaurant webinar for years, and we continually talk about how important it is to manage food and labor costs. And we know both are going up.
Going up, and what's the strategy for that? And are you going to be raising your revenues or your menu, revising your menu? Joseph, real quick, let's talk about some of these stats, which I find interesting. This is from the Kansas City Fed. Oh, wow.
Sorry about the wallet. Sorry about the wallet text. Yeah, we went over most of the top. How about we just do this chart?
There we go. Okay, I like that. Much better.
What Chris really said is why these numbers are so high is because of PPP. 2021, we saw that percentage increase to 62.5%. And then in quarter 4 2020, that went back down because PPP ended, and then slightly kicked back up in quarter 1 of 2021 because of the round 2. And so for the total year over year, you could see that percentage change is just astronomical. I mean, we haven't seen anything like that ever. This broke every record that we've ever seen and tracked. So this chart has the same. This is percent of credit line usage going back to 2017, and you can see that dropped significantly because of PPP and federal funding and stimulus injection into the economy.
Yeah.
Correct. So those are the only two graphs that I had. Yeah, I attached the report. It's a fascinating report. The KC Federal Reserve did a lot of great data, and we've gone over it all week. But I think it's just gives it context to see how much percentages and federal funding is out there right now floating around. So.
Well, what this chart tells me, Lance, is that we're very much in an environment where access to capital is not an issue for a lot of companies. Obviously, there's always exceptions, and those exceptions are going to show up in your delinquency report. But I would not have drawn the chart that way. That's pretty impressive in terms of credit usage is going down on these credit lines, Lance.
Well, it's, you know, think about all the small business borrowers who did not have to make a loan payment for 6, 7, 8 months, possibly 9, and in some cases 11 months. But, you know, that is one reason that credit line usage probably dropped. Plus, PPP funds, you know, enormous amount of PPP money in the hands of small businesses who were able to fund payroll, rent, you know, mortgage interest and other expenses is taken away their reliance or their need to use their credit lines. You take PPP out of the mix, you'd have a completely different chart.
Very good. We're going to be announcing, Joseph and I get together today, and we're going to do a meet and greet for both loan classes, the closers and the underwriters. We're going to work on our logistics on that. So for those of you signed up, you'll be getting emails. Should we say this afternoon? Yeah, this afternoon.
Yeah, we're very excited to start the closer course. I don't think we've done a new one for a while, and we're excited. So Lance filmed a ton of good content, and we're looking forward to it. So
yeah, so
we're sign up anytime this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're not going to release.
And one thing, Bob, I had a conversation with a great lender at an institution that I've known for a while, and we were talking about the closer course. We want you to sign up now, but you know, he indicated he had a closer that was coming on board in the fall, and I said, you can sign up then too. Don't worry about it. You can sign up now and start. The way the closer course is designed is you don't have to show up on July the 8th to start. You can start on September the 8th. You can start on October, whatever day is right for your closer, you can sign up. Now, I'm not encouraging you not to sign up now. I'm just telling you that if you add employees a month or two down the road, you can get them signed up.
Yeah, and if you got multiple employees, send Joseph or an email. We'll work out some sort of special deal with you. We've done that with the SBDCs. I'm happy to extend that. Well, very good. Thank you all for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street, one entrepreneur at a time. Thanks, guys.
Have a wonderful afternoon.